Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. Let's take a look at the fifth macroeconomic objective of governments around the world, and that is equity in the distribution of income. This is the introduction and overview video, and there might not be a more controversial topic in macroeconomics. What do you do to even out, to provide equity or fairness when it comes to distributing income in a country? Maybe the most historically discussed topic of governments around, and it gets into the very basics of people's political ideologies, their views on what good government is, which touches on very much kinds of things about like what good parenting is and how much should you help somebody to make it quote fair, and what does fair mean anyway. So it's a highly charged topic and therefore super interesting. So let's take a look. It is equity in the distribution of income is one of the characteristics really associated with the free market viewpoint, right? A free market economist would say, hey, it's going to happen and it's good for society. Of course, not everybody can have the same income, because then you would take away the incentive to produce more. And as more things are produced and as more development takes place, then everybody eventually gets pulled along. And you can see that argument happening in the more developed nations of the world, right? They went through an industrial revolution. As a result of the Industrial Revolution, there was a lot of suffering. There was a lot of inequity between the people that had money and the people that didn't. But over time, if you look at European countries and the legacies of European countries, the United States, Canada, everybody has benefited. Those happen to be the most developed places on the planet. And so the argument is there for allowing market forces to work, and with time and with good judgment, that's enough. The government doesn't have to get involved. But the reasons for difference in income and the consequences of inequality are many and complex. And of course, they can form the basis of massive debates among economists, politicians, sociologists, colleagues, parents, and children, friends, and even business classmates in economics class. I have some of the most interesting, the most thoughtful, the most intriguing discussions with students about the equity and the distribution of income and what it even means. Like, should the government even be doing those kinds of things, or should the government just stay out of it and allow market forces to reign? So what should you be able to do? Well, by the end of this unit, at the end of this unit, you should be able to distinguish between equity and equality. You should be able to distinguish between absolute poverty and relative poverty. You'll be able to explain possible causes and consequences of poverty. You'll explain how to draw the Lorenz curve and use it. You'll be able to understand and explain the Gini coefficient, relative incomes analyze how data on relative income shares of population. You'll be able to distinguish and give examples of direct and indirect taxes. You'll be able to explain how governments can alter the distribution of income through the use of tax policies. You should be able to give examples of progressive, regressive, proportional taxes. Explain also how the use of those taxes, right, revenue to provide goods and services. Explain how governments can alter the distribution of income through something called transfer payments. And then, of course, and don't ever forget this is where you earn all your marks, evaluate the uses of government policies to redistribute the income. So this is an overview of what you should be able to do by the end of this unit. I tell some students at the beginning of the unit, hey, don't even look at this kind of stuff. It can be overwhelming. But if you look at it now, you think, wow, that's pretty cool. I am going to be able to do all of those things, and I'm going to be able to understand the responsibilities and roles and the arguments for both sides of the argument about how governments should redistribute income and to what extent they should. It's pretty fascinating, okay? So enjoy the following 8 videos and the following 7 videos, 8 videos in total. And I hope you found this video to be helpful, and we'll talk to you in a bit.